You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Hey listeners, let me let you in on a little secret. You don't have to stress about planning your class lessons, small groups, and individual sessions anymore. My school counseling membership program, Impact, is here to help. So, what do Impact members get? Monthly curriculum plans across all 3 tiers, SEL lessons, small groups, individual, and seasonal activities, step-by-step video implementation guides, bi-weekly Zoom coaching calls with me, and an exclusive Facebook group community. This membership is designed for school counselors who want to deliver the best possible content to their students, but who also want to just press the easy button. You'll get access to monthly curriculum plans, resources, support, and community so you can deliver quality, engaging, life-changing counseling lessons to your kiddos. So what do you think? Are you ready to make an impact? Join today at stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact. Hey there, I hope you're having an awesome Tuesday. Thank you for listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So today I want to talk to you about data. So if you've been listening to my podcast or reading my blog for some time, you may know that I love data collection, and I think it is something that we should feel empowered by, not intimidated by. Now, and before I get in any further, if I sound a little funny, my lips got really sunburned, so I feel like I can't open my mouth all the way. So I promise I'm not eating or anything, but sorry about that. Sidetrack. That's just a con of beach life, I guess. But I want to talk to you about data today, and I want to talk to you about why you need to collect data at the beginning of the school year. Now, like I said, I'm always talking about data, and one thing I'm always pushing is my end of the year report. And I love teaching counselors how to use an end of the year report, and I feel really passionate about this tool. However, I also think data gets overlooked at the beginning of the year. Sometimes we wait until the end of the school year and we want to show all of the hard work we've done, and we really want to add up all the numbers and check out the results. But you can start data collection right away. So you may be thinking, whoa, pump the brakes, we've only been in school a few weeks. But I'm telling you, it is not too late. I think the beginning of the school year is the perfect time to get your data tracking strategy down. So first off, let's talk about the why. Why do I need to collect data at the beginning of the year? Well, you want to do this so you can demonstrate your impact and advocate for your role. So what that means is you want to show how many students you are helping. And in turn, showing that information advocates for your role and our position as a whole as the school counselor. It really shows the need for your position and what a difference you're making at your school site. Okay, so you're thinking, well, that sounds great. Of course I want to do those things. But how can I do this? So it's really simple. So at the beginning of the year, a fun strategy that I want to share with you is to come up with a data wall or a data bulletin board. So outside of your office or near the front office, or you could even put this in like a multi-purpose room, cafeteria, gym, wherever a lot of eyes are going to be on it, get a bulletin board space. If there's not a bulletin board, just slap some butcher paper up there and kind of do a DIY one on top of the cement wall. I've done that before. But what I want you to do is to create a space where you can display your data. So here you can list any stats from the year before, showing how many students you impacted. This is really going to get people excited about your program. And maybe it will spread awareness about your program. So if a parent or a teacher happens to see this data wall and they're thinking, oh wow, the counselor did that last year? I didn't even know that was a thing our school offered. Well, there you go. That is a great way to spread awareness about your program, causing you to get, impact more students and further advocating for your role. Now you may be thinking, whoa, pump the brakes, Rachel. I'm a first-year counselor. I don't have any stats from last year. Or, well, I didn't collect any data last year, even though it's my second or third year. That's okay. I still encourage you to do a board like this, but you can use plans for the year. So instead of sharing previous data, you can share your plans for the year. So something like this, these are the list of class lesson topics that I'm going to cover, or these are the number of classrooms I plan on going in this year, or I want to run these groups this year. Again, it's spreading awareness on the services that you provide. So super simple. If you're more of a digital person, or if your school is virtual this year, then you can do like a virtual version on your school website. So if you have your own website and a cool like Bitmoji classroom or something, you can definitely display it there. But if you don't have all of that already, you can use your school website, see if there's like a counselor's corner or a tab on the website where you can display this information. The more people who can see this, the better, right? And obviously we're keeping information confidential. You shouldn't be using student names or anything like that in this data. So that's how you can do this, right? So we've talked about the why and we've talked about the how. But now let's talk about, well, what do you mean when you say data? I keep saying data and stats, but you're thinking like, what am I actually displaying on this board or on this website? Now, when you think about data, I want to break it down into two parts. So you can quantify the services provided, or you can quantify student progress. So just to kind of break these down a little further, services provided, that's where you're going to show how many students that you're impacting, how many students that you're helping. And you may be thinking, well, how do I gather that information? Well, first up, you've probably already been gathering this information and you just didn't realize you were doing it yet. So no stress. Check out your calendar. So if you're using a Google Calendar or some kind of digital calendar, super simple, just search like the term individual or group, and then you can count up all the sessions. If you use a paper calendar, go back and flip through and count up the sessions to figure out how many individual sessions that you've done so far or plan on doing. Now, keep in mind, I realize this is September, and you may be thinking, we've only been in school a few weeks, but I'm sure you've already done a lot. And with your data wall, you can update this monthly. So you can, put the stats on there of how many kids you've already seen. And people may be shocked, like, oh my gosh, she already started a small group? That's crazy cool. So don't be afraid. Don't wait until you have like mountains and mountains of data. Honestly, if you have too much stuff, people aren't going to read it. It's hard to sift through. So just like some fun, bright facts to point out. Super simple. So September, this is the perfect time. You might have been in school a few weeks. You're already, moving and shaking, doing some stuff. Put it up there. Be loud and proud about it. So how you're going to quantify those services provided? Check your calendar. You likely already have it all written down. Check your counseling log. If you have student sign-in sheets, or if you've been keeping track of the students you see somewhere, and you have all this information written down in some kind of database or just in your planner or wherever you keep track of it, I'm sure you have some kind of system. Whether or not it's organized, it doesn't matter, but go back and kind of track it and check out how many students that you've seen, how many groups you've served, how many lessons that you've already done. That's awesome information that you can share. Now, when it comes to quantifying student progress, this is when you're going to show how students have progressed after working with you or after being in counseling. So this is where you're going to get stats from things like self-assessments. You could list a needs assessment here at the beginning of the school year, or behavior surveys. So of course, those self-assessments and behavior surveys, these are likely things that you're going to do a pre and post counseling services for. For example, self-assessment, you'll send one out at the beginning of counseling sessions and then when you wrap it up with a kiddo. Well, you're probably not going to wrap it up until 6 or 8 weeks later, so you may not be there yet because, again, it's September. So what you can do instead is focus on like a needs assessment this time of year for back to school. That's a really great one. You can share your plans for the school year based on the needs assessment to demonstrate that you have data-driven plans. And then you can use the results from those self-assessments and behavior surveys later in the year once you have that data. So like I said, this is something that's ever evolving. Just pick some big, fun, bold stats and numbers to display, and you can update it every month. Super simple. So you may be thinking, okay, you sold me. I see the need for data, but I have a few objections. It's my first year. I don't have anything to show. Perfect. Start with a needs assessment. It is never too early to start collecting data. If you're a first-year counselor and you're feeling lost and you don't know what to do, I recommend starting with a needs assessment. Survey your teachers. Find out what they want, what they need. They know the students the best, right? They've already been working with them. They know the student population and they know where the needs are. So talk to your teachers. They're an awesome resource. Get feedback on last year's program and find out what they liked, what they didn't like, what they want to continue, what they wish they had. Get all of this information. That is my data collection advice for you if you're a first-year school counselor. Or maybe you're thinking, I see the need for this data, but I'm bad with tech. I see all these pretty charts and graphs on people's, data walls or data bulletin boards, but that just seems too much. I don't know how to do that. You can do data collection low tech or no tech. So low tech, use Google Forms. Y'all, I love Google Forms. I talk about them all the time. They're free, they're awesome, they're simple. I even have a Google form for people who come visit me. So you may know I live in Costa Rica. It's beautiful. I'm so happy and blessed to live here. And we get a lot of visitors. We have family and friends who are always like, hey, we want to, plan a vacation and we'll come stay with you. We'll get to visit you and go on vacation to a new country, win-win. So it's awesome. I love hosting. I am like hostess with the mostest. I'm always planning activities and it's a lot of fun. But especially during COVID and traveling now, there's like some requirements that you have to do. You have to get travel insurance and fill out this QR code to enter the country, and then to return to the States, you have to get a negative COVID test. So there's kind of some organization, logistical things that need to be done. And I like to find out people's activity preferences, because some people like hiking and snorkeling, but then some people are like, I just want a massage and to lay by the pool. So I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but I've gone off, where I've planned this whole trip and then I found out, they didn't want to do any of that. They kind of just wanted to relax. And I said, we're going to go see sloths and hike and swim in a waterfall or whatever. So I created a Google form in my personal life, y'all, that I have people fill out before they come visit me. So basically all that to say, if my grandma can fill this out, then you can create a Google form. And I encourage you to use them in your personal life as well. They're life-changing. I promise I'm not getting paid by Google Forms for this podcast episode. But I encourage you to create a Google form. That's a great way to collect data because it's simple. People just click buttons, and then on the results tab, it auto-populates graphs for you. No Excel needed, nothing fancy. Then you can screenshot them, slap them on your school website, print and cut them out, put them on some construction paper. Super easy, super effective. Or no tech. You don't have to be tech savvy at all. You can literally flip through your paper calendar and count the number of counseling sessions that you've provided so far, or the number of class lessons that you've taught, and then write it down on a piece of paper and staple it to a bulletin board. It doesn't even require any technology. So no stress if that is your objection. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you are feeling empowered and not intimidated to start tracking data and sharing your data this year. Because remember, starting this at the beginning of the school year is such a great habit. Not only by the time that you get to that end of the year report are you going to have a wealth of information to share with others, but you're going to really see the impact that you made with your students. You're going to increase your impact, and you're going to get the recognition that you totally deserve, and you can advocate for your role by using this data and displaying it proudly. So guys, I have a freebie for you. If you want more data tracking tips, you can download my stress-free school counseling toolkit. So just head to the show notes for the link, or send me a DM at Bright Futures Counseling and I'll get it over to you. Okay, talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.